He kept telling us that his phone just kept breaking away. So his phone was very weak. Now you can't say like Sean wasn't playing, do what they wanted.
Somebody had asked me, I did, so.
We got an infection in this number. He had infection at one point. I just put a longer and it just burst and that's just.
I could have saved that and made some soup for you.
QBC.
I'm serious.
That must be Franz.
She follows him on Facebook, so
Yeah.
that's how we
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Yes! We only know you from Facebook.
Oh, that's so awesome. How did you find
My
my
other
video?
sister's going to.
How did you find me originally?
So I came across you on YouTube actually.
Oh, YouTube.
I love all the pop arrangements you do. So I actually
I'm
bought
gonna play two today.
Good.
So not Facebook, YouTube.
Well, yeah, and then I think it followed you back on, I don't know,
Oh,
anyway.
Oh, that's so cool.
She's
But
Have you
yeah.
played any of my arrangements?
What?
Have you played any of my arrangements?
Well, okay, so I bought.
They're pretty difficult.
They are.
Do you say trees?
I bought trees and I'm like,
Okay,
someday
that
I'm
is
going to learn
the
this.
hardest one.
Right?
It's
But
an F sharp and it's
I'm like,
got double octave jumps.
yes,
It's not
yes,
fun.
yes. And I'm like, you know what, someday maybe I'll be able to do this. And I love
Oh,
the
that's
products so
funny.
much.
Yeah.
And then I found a simplified one, so I just really bought that.
Oh yeah, that's much more doable.
Yes, it is. Thank you for transposing it.
Yes.
And also making it easier, but also the transposing was like, okay, this is in the realm
Yeah,
of
G
maybe.
major is like doable
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes. No, so anyway, thank you.
All right.
That's cool.
So
Well, I'm gonna just turn
the
the time
camera see
over.
me? No, probably not. I'm gonna stand.
When you sit down, yes. So thanks everyone for coming. I think we're in for a treat. So a lot of us heard him for the first time at our Christmas event here. And so I'm just gonna let you tell what you're doing, what you're preparing for.
Perfect.
Maybe a little bit about yourself might be fun for people to hear.
Yeah.
And the evening's yours.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Nathan Schaumann. So the reason I'm performing is I have a competition in a week in Atlanta, a piano competition, and so I've been trying to perform for as many people in as many different ways as possible because it's one thing to sit in a practice room and practice, and it's a totally another thing to play in front of people. So playing in front of people is a good way to practice for a competition. So I'm so glad you're all here. I'm going to play. So the first half of my program, except for the very first piece, is going to be my competition repertoire, and the second half will be stuff that's much more fun that I like to play. If you guys know Jon Schmidt from the Piano Guys, like that kind of stuff, and some pop covers. I like to arrange pop songs just for the piano, and I'm going to play some Billy Joel, and I'm going to play some of my own compositions, and I'm going to play an arrangement of some hymns, so just some super fun stuff. Okay, but my first piece, actually before I introduce my first piece, I'm going to say a very quick prayer, because it always helps me play better. Okay. Father in heaven, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to play for these wonderful people, and I'm grateful for the Hughes and for their generosity in opening their home, and please help me to play my best and that the audience will enjoy the music. And say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, this is my sister Emily, and she's going to play the violin. So the first piece we're going to play to open the concert is called To the Summit by Jon Schmidt, and it is originally written for piano and saxophone, but she's going to play on the violin. And this is one of my favorite, well, I say one of my favorite Jon Schmidt pieces, but every Jon Schmidt piece is one of my favorite Jon Schmidt pieces. He was the composer that took me from not really liking music that much to, holy cow, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So he was like the bridge for me. So this is To the Summit by Jon Schmidt, and this is Emily Shaw.
Okay, and just to note, if you have cell phones, to turn them off.
Okay, and I get a little loud, so for this I'm gonna put this down. Okay. okay, I'm gonna play 5 classical pieces. So the first piece, if you don't like it, I don't blame you. Because it took me a while to like it too. It's an atonal piece. And what that means is, most music, like, it's the key of D major. It'll use this note, this note, this note, this note. Sounds very nice. Atonal music doesn't have a key signature, it just uses all the notes. So it's a weird piece. It's called, well, very inventive name, Piano Sonata No. 1 by Carl Vine. And this is the first movement. And I'm going to take off my coat because it gets a little bit difficult. Okay. Okay, so now for some very straightforward classical music. This is Beethoven, Sonata, Tune No. 3, first movement.
appropriate? I was just asking Karen, she said this might be nice to just turn the piano a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Then more than 1/10 of the room can see my fingers.
So, do you want to help me?
Yeah, that's a good
Let's
idea.
get over here, and I'm gonna pull it. Yeah, let's pull that down. And I'm just, now it's on these little things, so we're just gonna kind of slide it.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit that way.
There we go. Oh, that's much better.
Okay.
Now, I think that works. And then can we bring this out just a little bit more?
Yeah, that's better.
Is that nicer? Yeah, because half the fun is seeing you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. Whatever works so that they can still see. You can still prop it up on that if you want. Yeah, if you sit over there, maybe. That's better. Does that work? Okay, the next piece is a Liszt Etude, Transcendental Etude number 10 in F minor. And this is a very fun piece, and my performances always go way different than they did before, so I have no idea how this is going to go. Emily, could you record a voice memo of like the next classical pieces, like the next 3?
Can you just a second, Jerome, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be good quality, just
No?
no. I just need to hear it to practice later. next piece is a Rachmaninoff Etude, Opus 39, number 8 in D minor. So among my classical pieces, this is the slow one. Okay, and now for the monster. So this piece is, I'm sure many of you have heard of Flight of Bumblebee. Anyway, so it's a very famous tune, and it's been arranged for all sorts of things. It's been arranged for violin, it's been arranged for wind orchestra, I'm sure it's been arranged for, I don't know. So this arrangement is in interlocking octaves. So it's an arrangement for solo piano, and instead of playing the melody, it's played like this. So it's very fun and very hard. That went a lot better than I thought it would go. Okay, so now we get to the fun part. Okay, so this next piece isn't pop. So this is, okay, I hope my grandma's watching because this is for her. So this is one of her favorite pieces, and I learned it for her. So it's, I'm sure you'll recognize it, or many of you will recognize it. It's, so Paganini wrote a set of, so Paganini wrote this piece that many composers since him have arranged. It's a set of variations, and so like Rachmaninoff made a set of variations on it, Brahms made a set of variations on it, Liszt made a set of variations on it, and Rachmaninoff's series of variations was written for string orchestra and piano. I think it's string orchestra and piano, maybe it's full orchestra. Anyway, and oh boy, so what's interesting about this piece is the theme, the Paganini theme is so what Rachmaninoff did for one of his variations was he inverted it. So instead of the theme is anyway, and then it just does the whole thing inverted. So it's very, very cool. So this is Rachmaninoff's 18th variation on a theme from Paganini, transcribed for solo piano. So here it is. Whoops, I put that out of order. The program that I posted on there. That's okay. Okay, my next piece is what was supposed to be my piece that I just played. This is a Billy Joel piece. So Billy Joel, of course, huge pop star, but he also wrote some solo piano stuff. So this is called Root Beer Rag, and it is, ragtime a la Billy Joel, and it's super fun to play. I first heard of this piece, I was like 8 years old, and I was at a Jon Schmidt concert, and already at the age of 8, he was my idol. He's still my idol, but I was like 8. And I watched him play all of his pieces, and then he played this piece. And he shouted out to us, okay, I'm gonna try to break the world record for like how fast I can play this piece. And so like everyone got out their stopwatches and like timed him. I think he broke it. Like Billy Joel had like played it stupidly fast, and then he played it faster, and it was super cool. I'm not gonna try to play it super fast because it actually doesn't sound very good when you just play it super fast. I'm gonna play it how it's meant to be played. But Ruby Rag by Billy Joel. Change of mood. So this is a piece that I wrote. It's called Peace. And this one's from my grandpa. This is my grandpa's favorite song. the next piece is my own arrangement of some LDS hymns. we're going to end with 2 pop covers. So, about 4 years ago, I started a YouTube channel where I would just upload my own piano arrangements of pop songs, and that's been my #1 hobby ever since. So I love just whatever I hear on the radio or on Spotify or just all my favorite pop songs. I like to just figure them out on the piano and spice them up a little bit. So, okay. So this is Believer by Imagine Dragons, which I'm sure many of you know. And if you don't know, you'll probably recognize it. Okay, my last song, this is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. Also a very famous pop song, which I think you'll recognize. next week. What am I performing next week? Yeah, so next Saturday I'm flying to Atlanta for a piano competition. So the first half of the program is when I'm playing there. So they don't like Jon Schmidt at classical competitions.
We got that part.
Yeah, as much as I would love to play Jon Schmidt in front of a panel of judges, they'd probably say
And
no.
who's competing? Tell us about the competition.
So I think it's international. It's just anybody who signs up and gets, well, so the first round was a video round. So I sent in a video of some of my performances, and I got in. And so just anybody can submit an application. And those who got in, I think there's 15 of them got in. So we're all going to Atlanta. We're just going to play. So there's 2 rounds. The beginning round is I think 20 minutes of music, and the second round is like 22 or something. And you can choose. Oh boy, I think most competitions will say you have to play a Bach fugue, a Beethoven sonata, and a Chopin etude, and some modern piece, or something like that. This competition I think just left it open, so I could choose whatever I wanted. But it's still nice to present like all different styles, because if I just go there and play like lots of Liszt etudes, they'll be like, well, he can play Liszt etudes, but can he play Beethoven or can he play Rachmaninoff? So I tried to kind of balance it with Beethoven, Rachmaninoff, Carl Vine, Fly Bumblebee.
And what are your plans and your goals?
Oh boy, those change hourly. I want to go into music, which is the only definite. For a long time, my dream was, well, not my dream, my plan was to be a professional classical pianist, because that sort of seemed like I was good at and what I would end up doing. But when I was like 12 or 13, well, when I was 8, I got into Jon Schmidt, and that changed my world. I was like, holy cow, music is fun. And then when I was 12 or 13, I got into pop music, and I realized, wow, I like pop music a lot better than classical music. Why don't I do some of this? And so I've been doing a lot of both for the last 5 years. So what do I want to do? Something to do with music. I'm getting more into writing pop music now. That's something that I'm kind of exploring in the last couple months. So what the piece that I wrote that you just heard is not like, I mean like pop music with lyrics and stuff that you hear on the radio. So I'm really enjoying that. I've often considered my career might look like Jon Schmidt's career, which is, he plays his own stuff and arrangements of pop songs with Stephen Schaumann on the cello, and they tour around. So that's a possibility. I don't know. I'm kind of figuring out where life takes me. So, yes.
And we just followers, we don't know. Are you done with high school yet or no?
So that's a good question.
What was the question?
So she asked if I was done with high school yet. So I'm almost 19. So I graduated high school in June 2017. So like a year and a half ago. Then I took a year off and I traveled with my family. We went to Guatemala, we went to the Middle East, we went to Mexico, Texas. And then I came to BYU. So I've been at BYU since May. So I've been there for spring semester, summer semester, fall semester, and now it's winter semester.
Okay.
So I'll be there for another semester, and then I'll go on a mission, and then I'll get back and I'll figure out what to do. Emily!
Will you play the Rachmaninoff arrangement of Paganini at my wedding?
Yes.
Okay. Are you engaged?
I would love to. Yes, Emily's engaged.
When are you getting married?
May 3rd.
Oh, wow, it's coming up.
So I would love to play that at your wedding. That'd be awesome.
Well, I hadn't heard him play that piece before, so.
Do you want to play To the Summit at your wedding?
No.
No!
Oh,
Okay.
shit. So we keep clapping while you do an encore song?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I was kind of thinking that. In honor of you. Yes, sorry.
Do you know Scheherazade?
Oh, the piece rings a bell, but I've never
it's
played
my
it,
favorite.
but I recognize it.
Yeah, you would.
Okay, in honor, what's her name?
Actually.
Ashley. So Ashley is here because I posted on my Facebook page that I was doing this concert and whoever wanted to come, I would send them the address. And so she showed up with her friends. So in honor of her, I would play my arrangement of Trees, which I haven't practiced in 3 years.
That's okay.
And it's an extremely difficult arrangement, so it's going to be really interesting. So, Trees is a song by 21 Pilots, which is, well, it used to be my favorite band up until they released an album that I didn't really like. And now they're my second favorite band, but this is my favorite song by them.
What's your favorite band?
My favorite band is Panic at the Disco.
Oh yes, love
I
them.
love Panic at the Disco.
If you want to do another one, that's fine too.
Oh boy, well, let's see how this goes. Okay, so this is Trees. It's fun. Let's see if I remember it.
being trained in classical music helped you in the pop music?
Oh, enormously. Yeah. So classical, well, in numerous ways. So, I mean, first of all, just musicality in pop music, like if you're playing a Chopin ballade or something, I mean, there's so much expression you have to develop, and that totally I only played fast pop covers today, but for slow songs, like pop songs, like there's a lot of that musical training helps, and also just technique, like the Can't Stop the Feeling arrangement, like, or the Believer. just all these different fun technical things, or whatever. Anyway, just because when you're playing classical music, you do all these drills that you have to learn these big pieces, and just all these, all the technique that goes into classical music will be applied to pop music or whatever you want to do. So absolutely, my classical training has, and that's kind of been reassuring to me. Like often when I'm really sick of practicing piano, like one more Liszt Etude, or like it's like even if I don't go into classical music as a career, it's not a waste, because the harder I practice this, the better I'll be for pop music, right? So it very much crosses over. Yes.
Do you study pop at BYU, or is it all classical?
No, so right now I'm in the piano performance major, which is all classical, but I'm considering switching over to the commercial music. So BYU does have a commercial music major, which is film scoring and pop music and music arrangements and all that sort of stuff, all the modern music production, audio engineering. So I'm singer-songwriter. I'm seriously considering switching maybe after my mission. I don't know, but for now I'm just doing classical. I'm just studying classical. Piano is just, pop is just a hobby.
Can you put on your mission papers that you need to have a piano close by?
Well, I'm sure there will be, because there's a piano in every ward building. So I'm not too worried about that.
Maybe not in every.
Maybe not. Yes.
So I was going to ask the inverse. How has your pop music helped the classical side?
Oh boy, I don't know if it has. Oh, actually, yes. Oh, yes, it has. Okay, so here's how it's helped. So and I was just telling Emily this in the car, when I'm, on hour number 5 of, Ligeti Etude number 7, and I'm just ready to die, I usually just stop and play Jon Schmidt or pop music for like 10 minutes, and then I'm ready to go. So that's one way in which it's helped. I kind of use pop music as just like my outlet to just get it out, and then I can go back to practicing for hours and hours and hours. So it's definitely helped in that way. It's also helped, I guess, just rekindle my love for music, because very often I get burned out with classical music. And so that's one way in which it's helped. I'm sure I could think about it hard and come up with a better, more eloquent answer. But yes, any more questions?
We have lots of food in the other room.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So yeah, thank you again.
Yes, thank you for coming. My mom is a piano teacher. I'm so sorry. Paulina, you can hit end on the live stream. Do you see where to do that? No. Hang on.
Just right here?
I really hope it worked. That would really stink if it